What's up, Trek Nation, and welcome to Trek by Numbers on After the Snap. It's me, Tasha Pierce, bringing you the first installment of this new series. So I randomly choose a season number, and then I randomly choose an episode number, and every Trek series with that episode will be reviewed. For instance, the Trek Lottery gave me Season 5, Episode 1 for our first set of reviews. Only 3 series have a 5th season available. That's TNG, DS9, and Voyager. I'll review those episodes in timeline order, starting with TNG, which just happens to be the second part of a 2-parter. We choose another episode randomly during the last review of each set. You picking up what I'm putting down? Yes? Great. Let's jump off what could potentially be a decade-long series with TNG Season 5, Episode 1, Redemption II. Believing the Romulans are behind a Klingon Civil War, Picard involves Starfleet, and a Romulan commander reveals a startling relationship. Redemption II was directed by David Carson and written by Ronald D. It premiered September 23, 1991 in the real world. In universe, it was stardate 45020.4. So if you have not seen Redemption II, I don't know what the hell you're doing anyway. But I am going to be dropping spoilers, so you may want to tread carefully, or this is an episode that's been out for 30 plus years, so you might not have to tread as carefully as I think. The Redemption storyline adds to an ongoing arc of Worf versus the Duras family, beginning with Season 3, Sins of the Father. Nope, I'm not telling you a thing about Redemption 1. In Redemption 2, the House of Duras has staged its own January 6th and is nearing victory over Worf and the forces of Gowron. Starfleet, led by Picard, works to expose Romulan interference in this Klingon Civil War. This episode of The Next Generation further explores Klingon political structure following Sins of the Father and Redemption 1. While we learn just how ruthless the political machine is on Kronos, Picard and Starfleet are working to prevent the Romulans from aiding the Duras family. The Enterprise and 22 other ships will guard the border of Klingon and Romulan space, and using a tachyon net, will detect if any cloaked ships are running supplies to the Duras faction. Now, after watching Picard Season 3 in its entirety, I thought, wouldn't fleet formation mode have been helpful in this situation? Of course, in universe, it's far too soon after Best of Both Worlds to suggest something so Borg-like. Give Shelby about 30 years though. She'll be all for it. Now, as for this part of the plot at this stage in Starfleet history, I wonder why the Romulans wouldn't just order their ships to go around the 23 Starfleet ships forming the blockade. But I digress. A couple of very notable things occur in this episode. First, we see the return of Kurn, Worf's long-lost brother, played by the inimitable Tony Todd. And damn, he's having so much fun in this role. We were first introduced to Kurn in TNG Season 3, Episode 17 called Sins of the Father, and after this 2-parter, we see him again in the DS9 episode Sons of Mo. In this episode, Worf has resigned from Starfleet to assist Gowron's faction in this civil war, and he finds out how different he is from the Klingons who were raised in the full culture of Kronos. Worf talks about it being a wonderful day to die, but these Klingons, including his brother, are truly about that life. Worf is a fish out of water because despite him being a full-blooded Klingon, he was raised by humans. Now, it was established in Season 1, Episode 20, Heart of Glory, that Worf has spent very little time among Klingons. Now that he has, he's struggling to fit in. And this is because he is the paragon Klingon warrior, not a regular one. Being around real Klingons reveals the tremendous conflict between the ideal and the reality. He's also a member of Starfleet, and he lives by standards completely at odds with how Klingons live. By the end of the episode, he admits this to himself and returns to Starfleet. In TNG Season 6, Episodes 16 and 17 called Birthright, Worf will continue his journey of self-discovery as he explores his Klingon heritage and tries to understand his place in the galaxy. My second big takeaway is how Wolf 359 continued to affect Starfleet. While I don't think the event is mentioned specifically, we learn many ships are still in dry dock and others aren't fully crewed. There are only 12 operational ships within a day's warp from the Enterprise. We also learn there is rampant bigotry against artificial life forms in Starfleet when Data is given temporary command of the Southern. This is the most compelling arc of this episode, and it is the one given the least amount of time. But anywho, his first officer, Christopher Hobson, is a piece of shit in the highest magnitude. What I love about Data is his incapacity to give one single fuck about Hobson's microaggressions. Usually, bigots enjoy getting a rise out of their target, and Data is business as usual. Now, by the end of the episode, Data does eventually check this dude a la Jean-Luc Picard, but right now he's just about the business of getting the ship prepared for the blockade. I wonder though, if part of Hobson's issue could stem back to Wolf 359, when those assimilated life forms mindlessly went about destroying the tranquility to which Starfleet had become accustomed. It's still no excuse for the way he treated Data, but after seeing Sisko's reaction and also Liam Shaw's, it's not outside the realm of possibility that many people became intolerant of artificial life forms. Another thing is Denise Crosby's return as the half-Romulan, half-human daughter of Tasha Yar and the Romulan general who made her his concubine after the events of yesterday's Enterprise. While it was exciting to see Denise return to the fold, the news story was just too far-fetched for me. Of course, we only have Sela's word to go on that this is really what happened, and we have no real way of knowing if she's being truthful. I took her at face value until someone in one of the live streams mentioned she could be lying. So there's that possibility. But if she was being truthful, we learned Tasha died attempting to give her daughter a better life than she thinks she can give her on Romulus. And she dies at the hands of her assaulter. Now, I realize this was an attempt to give Tasha a quote-unquote honorable death, but it just turns her into a victim of the same abuse she escaped from in her childhood. In the end, Data's ability to make computations and also to know when to buck orders exposed the Romulans and saved the day. As previously mentioned, Worf returned to Starfleet with very few repercussions for resigning in the first place. Sela and the Duras sisters separately escaped, and Worf spared the life of Duras' son. And one would think the Klingons would have killed him the moment Worf went back to the Enterprise, but we will see Tyrell again in DS9. With the help of Starfleet and Worf, Gowron's faction was victorious. But we all know how that eventually turns out. No? But we get that revelation in DS9 as well. I really enjoyed this episode. Of course, it's better when you watch both parts simultaneously. The first episode ended on a cliffhanger, and this part just picks things up from there. Now, for Trek by numbers, we'll grade the episodes A, B, C, D, or F. I'll add pluses or minuses if I feel they're necessary. So on that scale, Redemption 2 earns a B. Our next episode of Trek by Numbers will cover DS9's Season 5, Episode 1, Apocalypse Rising. In it, Sisko and his crew masquerade as Klingons to expose a changeling who has incited a war between the Federation and the Klingon Empire. That's right, more Klingon shit. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Redemption Part 2 in the comments. Use the hashtag TrekByNumbers if you'd like me to share your thoughts during a future episode. If you haven't already done so, smash the like button. Please subscribe to my channel and turn those notifications to the on position so you won't miss an upload or a live stream. You can financially support the channel by sliding me a super thanks or by becoming a member of the House of Tasha, like these honorable folks. With all that, I've got nothing else. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Live long and prosper. Peace.